Hello, my amazing Algebra Half students. This is Mrs. A, and I love math. And today we're here with lesson 70, which is the first lesson after the halfway point in our book. So we are using ratios to compare. And this is going to be all about unit rates, which is what you get when you get a 1 on the bottom. So here it says if 20 pounds of beans sold for $1.20, what was the price for 1 pound of beans? So we're trying to find the price for 1 pound of beans. So don't we want to finally wind up with 1 pound all by itself? Okay, so we're going to look at two ways that we could write this ratio. So this proportion. So we could say $1.20 per 20 pounds. Or we could say, or we could say 20 pounds per $1.20. Okay, now that's fine. Either way, we're looking at the $1.20 is fine. Your book puts it 120 cents, which is the same thing. So they did 120 cents just because it's easier not to have the dollar sign and the decimal. So I'm going to go with your book and go ahead and change the $1.20 to 120 cents. So why don't we do that? We're going to take away the decimal, take away the dollar, and we're going to put cents here. And we're going to do the same thing over here and put it into cents. We're going to be consistent in both the left and the right. Now, what we're trying to find out is 1 pound of beans. Okay, if I divided by 20 on the top and 20 on the bottom, I would get 1 pound, but I wouldn't have the 1 pound on the bottom. And that's what a unit rate is. It has the number on the bottom, has one item. Okay, so we're going to go with this one because we want 1 pound and we want that on the bottom so that it is how many cents per pound. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, since we've decided which way we're going to do it, is we're going to divide the top and the bottom by 20. So 120 divided by 20, think about that easier if we just say 12 divided by 2. Because isn't 120 divided by 20 going to be able to cancel out the 2 zeros? And so 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we're going to get 6 cents per pound. 1 pound. And that is answering the question we wanted. And it has the 1 pound on the bottom. So it is the appropriate unit rate. So we get 6 cents per 1 pound, and that is the answer. Pretty easy, huh? This one is fun and very useful. We often go to the grocery store and we want to know which is the best buy. So the big can held 16 ounces and cost 80 cents. The small can held 12 ounces and cost 72 cents. Which can was the better buy? So we're going to write out each one, and if we want to know which one is the better can, then don't we want to know how many cents per ounce? Okay, if we're paying for a certain quantity, it is an ounce, right? We're going to get it down to 1 ounce. So we want 1 ounce on the bottom at the end. So we're going to find how many cents per ounce each can has. So we want to write the cents on the top and the ounces on the bottom. So here we had 16 ounces and 80 cents. Okay, so that was the big can. All right, and then over here on the other side, we have the small can had 12 ounces. So we'll put that on the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and use ounces. Okay, and then the abbreviation. And then on the top, we have 72 cents. Okay, so now we have each one of them. So now can we simplify them to where we get 1 ounce on the bottom to get the unit rate for each one? So I know that 16 and 80 both hold an 8, and I know that 16 goes into 85 times exactly. Do you know that? You'll get to know it better as you work more and more with math, but let's go ahead and do it the little bit slower way. 16 divides by 8. 80 divides by 8, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5, isn't it? So this is 5 cents per 1 ounce. Okay, so that's the big can. Simplifies to this one. And then we'll make this one go this way. Do you know what 72 divided by 12 is? That's exactly 6, isn't it? So we have 6 cents per 1 ounce on the small can. So once we get it down to unit rates, it's very easy to see which one is best. Here, we only have to pay 5 cents for the big can for each ounce that is in there. But in the smaller can, we have to pay 6 cents for every ounce. So let's go with the big can. Here's your practice problem. One store sold packages of 1 dozen, which is 12 items, for $1.44 a package. The other store sold packages of 3 dozen for $4.68. Use unit prices to tell which price was the best. Okay, so let's work in cents again. Okay, so we're going to say that, now it says which price is best. So don't we want a per dozen on the bottom? Okay, so like if we have 30 cents and 45 cents per dozen, that will help us to compare which price is the best, right? So we want our dozen on the bottom and we want our money on the top. So we're going to have here 1 dozen. So dozen is going to go on the bottom, and 1 dozen for $1.44. We're just going to make that 144 cents just to make it a little bit easier. And then on the right, so basically it says use unit prices to tell which price was the best. So we can go with dozen, or we could go down to single items. But they really don't tell us how we have to do it here, do they? They just say which is the best price. So whether we use dozen or whether we use single items, we could still find the best price. Okay, so then over here it says 3 dozen for $4.68. So 3 dozen for $4.68. So that's 468 cents. Okay, so now I have it in cents and dozen. Okay, so what your book is doing is they're probably going to break this down into using it by can or individual items. I'm going to go ahead and do dozens first, and then we can redo it and use the cans if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to divide 468 by 3 to get 1 dozen on the bottom. So 4, 6, 8 divided by 3 is going to go in one time. 3, 1, 6, 5, 15, 1, 8. 3 into 18 is 6. So this one is 156 for 1 dozen. So we'll erase all that. 156 for 1 dozen. So basically this one is equal to this now. So now that we have 1 dozen on the bottom, can't we go ahead and compare those right now? This one is 144 cents for every dozen, and this one is 156 cents for every dozen. So I'm going to go with this one because this one is a better price. Okay, so if you did want to find out how much it was, not per dozen, but by single item, then we would just divide this by 12, right? So we would have 12 cents per item. And then I would have to divide this one by 12, which would be 3. So 13. So this one is 12 cents per item, and this one is 13 cents per item. And I just did your practice problem for you. I'm making a habit of this. I'm going to have to reform. Okay, so hopefully you understand lesson 70. There's your board. And we're through. This is Mrs. A, and may God bless your day.